Welcome in, everybody, whether you're on the East Coast, West Coast, or around the world. This is Coast to Coast, and, it's been some interesting weather, so a little bit delayed, but we're here.
Yeah, hey, listen.
Hang it up.
Literally, we all have something completely different happening in our part of the world. It's like you have a bomb cyclone. Now, I said yesterday was
Yep.
the cyclone show, but I had to find out that I was actually wrong. It's a bomb cyclone.
It's a
I
bomb
don't know
site,
what makes
yes.
that cyclone the bomb, but obviously it is the bomb. That's the bomb cyclone.
Exactly. Yep. Yep. It was some weird, obviously we had a lot of wind, a lot of rain. Our passes had blizzard warnings. And so today, obviously we got some signal issues, but the West Coast has some tornadoes happening today down around Long Beach. So it's going to be interesting.
Got ya. So, and I hear that there is some flurries.
Oh no, I wish we had flurries. We got a blizzard right now. So far, we got 4 inches of snow on the ground. We got 45-mile-an-hour winds right now, so that 4 inches is gonna accumulate pretty quick.
Let's
So,
go.
yeah, I mean that's a lot of fun. I can imagine. I mean, welcome to late November, early December in the Wisconsin Green Bay area. My question really becomes more of when does the snow actually end?
Today,
No.
In general.
in
Like when in
general,
July? When in
so
July does that stop?
I guess it depends on the year. So last winter, we had start to finish. So I count winter basically November 1st here. That's because that's like usually when we typically get like our first like 1-2 inch accumulation or whatever. Last winter we had 24 inches of snow all winter,
That's
and
nothing.
19 inches came on 2 snowstorms.
Okay.
So outside of
That's
the
not what I asked.
no, but
I'm
I'm saying
asking.
so the winter before that, we had over 63 inches of snow in total. In the last
He's
snowfall,
talking when does it end?
I know I was getting there. I was getting there.
I feel like this is a really long
This is
answer,
he's using every stat he knows about snow.
So,
right?
because there's not a right or a wrong answer. Typically, the last
No. This is the wrong answer.
fine, typically the last snowfall ends about early to mid-April. Typically,
Early
but
to mid-April.
yeah,
So
typically.
that's because that's really what I was getting at was because we're going up there in late April.
For the draft, you will probably still have a little bit of snow piles in like the parking lots, but you won't have anything on the ground by the time you get here. It'll just be like all that snow they push out of the parking lot, so they just push into one corner, and then it just takes a while for it to melt. But you shouldn't have anything on the ground by the time the draft starts.
You hope. We hope.
Yeah,
I mean,
we've already
but
had a
this is a
7
La
inch
Nina, and something tells me since December 1st there was no snow, and now you're getting snow. It's starting a few weeks late, in essence.
Mhm.
That's going to carry over where the end would be around April 1st. That's going to end right around that big last snow shit that's going to happen is going to happen right on the draft.
Yep.
That would be
And,
hilarious.
well, I mean, last like
It would not be hilarious, actually. That would not be fun at all.
No,
But
zero fun, but funny. Because I won't be there probably.
that's not true. You might be there.
I might be there.
You
I might
should be there, in fact.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna try to, but we'll see.
Uh, you should start reaching out to the Seahawks now because they want somebody like you there. They would actually put you up in the fan group. You wear like a Seahawks weirdo hat and, maybe paint some like, those two stripes that go down you give me Captain Seahawk and all the other Seahawkers. I know a bunch of different groups from Seahawks. My buddy Craig is also he goes by Dewhawk and his wife T-Hawk. Also, like they may actually go this year, which is like I said, they're good people. So, I mean, I even have a Hawk name. I have an honorary Hawk name for when I went to the Pro Bowl and was the bird in the wrong nest going to a Seahawks party. And so I'm Eagle Hawk.
Nice.
As
But,
long as it's not 2018, you guys should be fine because in 2018 we had 11 inches of snowfall on May 3rd. So
yeah, but that was
Yes.
maybe the last time. Well, no, that would be next year because it's every 7 years with the El Nino and La Nina. This is a La Nina year.
yeah.
So La Nina means usually a lot of precipitation, and so far it isn't lying because you've got bomb cyclones, you've got snowstorms, and it poured like 8 inches last night. Like as I was driving home from darts, I literally had to I was nervous that I was going to get like caught in the puddle. And you look at a real big puddle. I'm like, that's only a small little puddle. No, that was a deeper puddle than I thought it was. 4 times, like 4 times. I'm like, all right, this one's small. Like you figure you're just gonna give a nice spray to the. No, it was like I was waking. So, but so yeah, that's what's happening in the weather of in the world of weather.
That's right. That's right.
So that being said, I'm going to start off with a little friggin', it seems like everybody right now, all of the national media is talking about the Eagles. And they're talking about Quinyon Mitchell a lot because obviously this guy has not let up a touchdown. He literally is probably right now, as we sit here today, statistically, the best cornerback in the league. I mean, it's the Eagles themselves probably have the best passing defense in the league. And what starts to really piss me off is that all these people that were bapping earlier are now getting on the Eagles bandwagon.
Yeah.
And you know what? I mean, I heard a buddy of mine, E-Rock, say this earlier, and I couldn't agree with him more, and I wanted to yell it out myself. I could give and fuck less about what anybody in the media thinks and what anybody in the media says. Because truth of the matter is that they were whining and crying that the Eagles weren't going to do nothing, that they were just sending out, like they were just restarting what they were messed up last year. And I've been saying all season long that I thought we would get to the NFC Championship game in Detroit. I've been saying that. But I still fully expect that. And I feel like now all of a sudden the media is jumping on my bandwagon saying, oh, yeah, the Eagles are for real. They were for real before.
Yeah.
And I'm just tired of hearing the national media all of a sudden start making the Eagles their darling. We don't want to be your darling. I want them to do whatever they need to do to win games. And I don't need to hear any bapping from out there.
Yeah.
Enough said.
Yeah. No, it's this is funny here. So you can get tickets to this Thanksgiving game for about $45.
It'll even go down cheaper than that.
Oh, no question. Yeah.
Yeah, like they are literally, you're going to see, and that's going to be the biggest testament of the Cowboys season. You're going to see empty seats.
Oh, for sure.
Lots of them.
Yeah.
Lots of empty seats. And I think that's going to be very interesting to watch how the NFL does that. Because they're going to have to shorten the cameras. And what I mean by that is that they aren't going to show any of the stands.
No. They're definitely going to get out of the top rows. They might be like, hey, you get a ticket upgrade, move down.
Yeah, they might do the lower bowl area. But the problem is the suites. It's the suites area.
Yeah.
And the suites area cover a big swath.
So there'll be tight shots of the suites.
Well,
right?
They better start offering Christmas dinner in those suites.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because or Thanksgiving dinner in those suites where you're going to go there and actually carve the turkey.
No, you were right before. It's Christmas dinner because the game is going to feel that long.
Well, I tell you, I really hope the Giants win. I'm
That would be
rooting on the
hilarious.
Giants.
That'd be amazing.
I don't know that they will.
Oh, they won't. But
Not
I mean,
starting Tommy Cutlets, they won't.
well, they're mishandling everything.
I want to see Tommy Cutlets in the Salvation Army bucket. I want him to jump in.
I mean, that's where they got him from, so it makes sense. Cutlets is if you ordered a quarterback off Wish or Temu.
And I wonder, are we going to see the agent too? Has the agent come out with them as well?
Of course.
Yeah, because ultimately that was the big deal. The agent was like, yeah, doing
Exactly.
this. Everybody was doing this for a minute, you know what I mean? Because he won a couple of games.
Yeah, it was the Linsanity type of action. They're like, oh, he won a game. He's amazing. It's like, no, he was the third string for a reason.
Right. That is exactly correct. So it's
They're not going to pay anybody to be there.
Well, let's do the cardboard cutouts.
Yeah, right.
They probably still have those stored somewhere.
Now that you say that, Joe, I feel like you're wrong.
Yep.
exactly, Joe. I hope and pray that you are on the show on Friday after Thanksgiving, where we are laughing at you.
I think he'd be pulling a J. He'd be missing in action.
So I guess my question to you then, Bo, since we kind of talked about it the other day with how they're handling this Drew Lock situation where he's been your backup all year, he's been taking the reps all year, and all of a sudden now you're going with Tommy DeVito.
Yeah.
Do you think the Giants are doing this because they're afraid that if they go with Drew Lock that he actually might win games? And it might
100%
prevent them?
he is.
Okay.
Yeah. No, that's exactly why they're doing it. They don't want to win a game. Like they're actively tanking, right? And what they liked about DeVito is it excited the fans, right? So people are still going to go not expecting to win. They're just like, oh, it's exciting, whatever, right? So which will work for a game or two. But ultimately, yeah, if you start Lock, he can actually win a game. So
I also thought that this had to do with money. So this is a money thing that they're doing here. That he gets a bonus if he starts like you think 1 game, 5 games, like 3 games, 5 games. I have a feeling that there is some type of bonus structure for that because he's the backup. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So that they are deliberately skipping him to save money. Now, I'd be willing to bet that because of that, him being a team player here, he's likely going to get another contract for next year.
do you think he's with the Giants next year?
Yes, absolutely.
Really?
So yeah,
I think he competes.
Yeah, this is why Drew Lock is not playing, is what you said, Peg. So his contract is a 1-year, $5 million guaranteed contract. So he's getting the $5 million no matter what, but he gets up to $3 million in incentives and playing-based bonuses. So if he starts 2 games, he gets $1 million in incentives. If he starts 4 games, he gets $2 million in incentives. If he starts 5 or more games, he gets the full $3 million in incentives. So they're at this point like, you know what? Screw it. We're not going to give you that extra $3 million.
Yeah, they're not going to give you the money, and they don't want to win. So,
But
you might see him start week 17 where the
this
incentives
will
are
come
gone.
back to him. That $3 million will come back to him. It will be like they'll bump him up to like $7 million. He'll get $2 million of it, and an additional, and that $5 million. He'll be there again. He will be here again, and he will compete for the starting position
With whoever they draft and bring in, yeah.
Correct. I think that's absolute. They know what they have with him a little bit.
sure.
So, but they're not going to pay the money.
Yeah, you don't pay. I mean, well, you do depending on the team, but you don't typically pay a backup quarterback $5 million if you don't think he's going to help you in some way. Like most backup quarterbacks are getting like $2 million, $3 million, but then you have guys like Winston.
Not true. I've heard some backups are getting like $10 million.
Yeah, some but I'm just saying like generic. Like Jameis Winston's getting $7 million as the well, he's not the backup anymore, but he was signed for $7 million as the backup.
That's what Foles was getting, right? He was getting close to 10.
Yeah, Sam Darnold was technically supposed to be the backup this year, and he was getting paid $10 million, and then Drew Lock $5 million. But then you look at like most other backups, like what the guy in Miami, Skylar Thompson's getting paid like $700,000. Joe Flacco's getting, I think, like $3 million with the Colts this year. Like a lot of the veterans are getting money, but a $5 million backup is typically a guy that you think could start if you gave him the opportunity to start. You're just not going to do it because you don't want to pay him.
Yeah. No, I mean, it makes sense if they're, especially with the amount of incentives that he has. You know, if it's $3 million, like I get it because this team is terrible. But the way they handled it is what's really messed up, because it's like they told those guys 5 minutes before the press comes in, like, what did you expect them to say? Of course, the reaction is going to be weird, right? Like maybe tell them a day before so that you can, I don't know, wrap your head around it and give that, pro answer instead of I found out 5 minutes ago and I'm in my feelings about it. It's, I don't know. It, again, it's the Giants. Like they just find creative ways to hurt themselves all the time.
Interestingly enough, actually, the highest paid backup quarterback as of September 2024, which is probably right, was Stidham at the Broncos. He's making $6 million.
Yep.
Mariota is getting also $6 million, and Tyrod Taylor is getting $6 million.
Okay.
Trey Lance is getting 5.3.
He's still on his rookie deal, though. I think this is the final year of his rookie contract.
Right. Then you got Drew Lock at 5. Which is probably still his rookie deal. They came out together.
Yep.
Joe Flacco 4.5, Dalton 4, Winston 4, Wentz 3.33, and Fields 3.23.
Well, no, so it wouldn't be Locke's rookie deal anymore because he was a second rounder, so he only had the 4-year.
Yeah.
Got ya.
So yeah, like all those quarterbacks. I mean, naming those quarterbacks and naming the price tag for all those backups. Those are all backup quarterbacks who've started before, or like our backup quarterbacks that if you needed them to play 7-8 games, they can win you some games. That's why when it comes to Drew Lock getting paid $5 million, the Giants gave him that because they're like, if Daniel Jones and us gets off to kind of a competitive start and Jones goes down, we can throw Lock in there and he can at least win us games. But now that the Giants are where they are, they're like, we don't want you to win games because we want a better pick.
But Stidham's a backup, but did he ever start anywhere?
He started with Denver, I think 6 or 7 games last year for Sean Payton after they benched Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
Got you. So that's why they have him there like that. It's all right. That makes more sense to me because.
Hey, you know what, Joe? I will gladly sit the bench for $5 million. I'm in.
I'm sure you'd gladly sit on the bench for $2 million, like some of the backups would do with just all the clipboard.
Right? Like I feel like I could make the numbers bump together with a couple mil. I could probably pay my bills. I feel like it'd work out. Give me a shot.
I wouldn't get hurt unless somebody ran into me.
Yeah, right. They trip over you.
Yeah, Jared Stidham has played in 18 games since coming into the NFL in 2019. He started 4 games. So he hasn't started a lot, but he's played basically a full season's worth of games.
Got you. All that means to me nothing because he stinks. But so, all right, then now either way, like I said, he'll wind up being part of the Giants moving forward, but he will not be playing this year.
I mean, he'll be a free agent, so I feel like he would be looking for other options.
So, yeah, I mean, I'm sure, but is anybody going to pay him $20 million to be their starting quarterback?
No, but I feel like he might have some situations that might make more sense available to him as a backup.
I think he could even do a Sam Darnold thing. You sign like a 1-year, $8 million deal, go to Tennessee. You could probably beat Will Levis. You could go to New Orleans, depending on if New Orleans decides to keep Derek Carr or not. You bring in Drew Lock for $8 or $9 million. He's going to start right away in New Orleans. He's going to have options, especially if he signs kind of like a Sam Darnold type deal where it's basically a 1-year, $8 to $10 million prove it deal where this is your chance to show that you should be a starter long term.
Well, and I think of that. I still think of that with he has a good chance even with the Giants doing that. We're talking $8 million. That's actually a lot of money for a backup quarterback or somebody who's just going to be on the roster to maybe make it. So I don't know that anybody's going to even keep him on the roster like that. They're not going to guarantee that money, not $8 million. They'll
Yeah.
guarantee 5. You know
Sure.
what I mean? I think that's what we just learned, that all of these backup quarterbacks are usually making under 5. That there were less than a handful, only 4 in fact, that were making 5 plus.
Yeah.
So and one of those is still on a rookie deal.
Yeah.
So realistically, that's not the case. So you may find out, like, if I was the Giants, I'd probably offer him, hey, listen, there's a reason why we're not playing you now. You're going to have the opportunity next year, and we will give you a $7 million contract. We're going to eat the $2 million that we were going to give you this year, and we're going to give it to you next year. You know, now that may all go out the window the moment that DiNucci gets hurt. You know what I mean? And then what are you going to do? Are you going to bring back in Daniel Jones?
Well, no. So they signed another quarterback. So they moved Jones to the 4th string, from what I was reading. I forget
Yeah,
who they
They
signed.
don't want him getting hurt.
No,
Exactly.
he's literally just doing. Basically, at this point, they called him a 4th string quarterback, but basically at this point, Daniel Jones is on the practice squad. Like, he's literally just there taking reps. Like, he's not even going to be dressed up for any of the games going forward. It's going to be DeVito and Drew Lock dressed up.
Yeah,
No,
I
and it's
forget
because
who-
they don't want to get caught having to pay him $23 million next year because he's hurt.
exactly.
And there was a rumor that went around late last night that if the Giants move on from Daniel Jones, that Pittsburgh's the favorite to bring in Daniel Jones.
I mean, I'm surprised they let him show up to the facility at all. Really, like, we don't want you to trip over a cord and hurt yourself. It's
We
like,
don't
you
want you
stay
to pinch
home,
your, we
wrap
don't want you
up,
to pinch your finger on the clipboard and break a finger.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
but so I can't see that. I mean, maybe I guess Fields is going somewhere else, is what they're trying to
Yeah,
say
because
there.
Fields is in the last year of his rookie deal. He'll kind of, I think, be in the same situation as Drew Lock, where he's going to have options if he wants to sign like a 1-year prove it deal somewhere.
Yeah, because the Fields deal was they didn't pick up the 5th year.
Yeah.
So
Well, the
it's-
Bears didn't pick up the 5th year, and then they traded him after they declined the 5th year.
yeah, well, but because it was still available
Yeah.
to the Steelers, they also opted not to do it.
Yeah, and with Russell Wilson being, I think, in the final, is it the final year of his deal next year? Because wasn't it like a 1-year?
Well, he's only got a 1-year, $1 million deal, right?
Wasn't it a 2nd-year option tied into it though?
Not that I'm
Maybe.
aware of. I thought it was just the 1 year.
I don't know. You're the stat guy. Check it out.
Because I think
All
Pittsburgh.
these stats, and you don't have anything for football.
I don't look at the contract stat. I think Pittsburgh will pick. I think Pittsburgh's going to bring back Russell Wilson anyways, especially if they continue to win and play well. I could see him coming back on like a short 2-year deal, just because he's getting up there in age anyways. And then you have Jones coming in as a backup, but Pittsburgh at some point is going to have to plan for their future too.
Like, whoever picks up Wilson, whether he stays or not, is still going to get a deal because the Broncos are the ones still paying him.
Exactly.
So, I mean, this was the first year of that monster contract that he signed. So, I mean, wherever he goes is still going to be discount, right? So, I'd be surprised if the Steelers don't try and keep him.
I think they will.
Because they probably go, oh, okay, you know what? Instead of $1 million, we'll give you 5 and still bone the the Broncos.
Instead of $1 million, we'll give you 10 for the next 2 years, and Broncos still got to pay.
Well,
for
no,
it.
doesn't it? Is it at every million that he makes now?
It pulls away from
The
exactly.
other, yeah. So I don't think they would at all. I think they would absolutely hamstring the Broncos.
course.
Why wouldn't you?
Exactly.
Say, hey, okay,
Especially if you're winning with them. Why not?
No, exactly.
So, yeah. What's that for another 2 years, right?
3.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think it's 3. I thought it was a 4-year deal.
Yeah.
So now most of the guaranteed money is in the first couple of years.
Yeah, the guaranteed money will come out. So this year, next year, and the year after is where pretty much all that guaranteed money is. So that's why I could see Pittsburgh signing him to a 2-year deal, just because that's the last 2 years of that guaranteed money from Denver anyways. Because then after that, they can just be like, well, you probably won't be in Denver anymore anyway. So
Well, in 2 more years after that, then they could decide whether they want to sign him to a longer deal.
Mhm.
I mean, he'll be what, 36?
No, he's.
Which,
I think he's 35 right now.
no way.
No, that can't be right.
He came in 2012. He came into the league.
Yeah.
How old?
Russell Wilson is 35 years old. Born November 29th, 1988. So he's almost 36 years old. He turns 36 in a week.
Crazy.
Okay.
You got to remember, though, because when he was drafted, he was almost 24 years old because when he transferred from North Carolina State to Wisconsin, he also was drafted by the Texas Rangers to play baseball. So he was actually an older college football quarterback because he didn't go to college for football right away. He actually went for baseball. That's why I think with another 2-year deal, you're looking at a guy that's going to be 38 when that deal expires. He's not, unless Pittsburgh signs him now to a 3 or 4 year contract, he's probably not getting anything more than a 2-year deal from this point going forward.
No, I would agree with that. Like nobody's going to give him a high dollar, long contract moving forward.
That's why the Broncos deal made sense. Like, yes, it was a lot of money and a big commitment, but at 34 years old on a 4-year deal, it's pretty much the last big contract he was going to get.
Yeah.
Right. And see how well that worked out for him. They got a new coach and said, yeah, you know what? I'm not a Russell Wilson fan. I already had a short quarterback, when I was coaching. I don't want another one.
And I mean, I think Russell Wilson's happy where he is now anyways.
Well, yeah. He has the exact setup that he had success with in Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't have to play hero ball. He has to be special 3 times a game, has a good running back, has
good
a
head coach,
offensive line, and an awesome defense.
And a good head coach.
Yeah. I mean, that's the system that he worked well in. As soon as he had to let Russ cook, man, it was garbage time. Like he was making macaroni and ketchup. Like it was.
Yeah. But then as I think about that, all of that stuff, it's like now what I like the most about him not being in Denver is that he doesn't have to say, let's ride.
Yeah, now it's let's weld or actually he didn't even come up with a dumb catchphrase this time. So maybe he's actually serious about football again.
That was the whole thing. Everybody was like, let's ride. And he kept saying it over and over and over again. I'm like, shut the frig up. You ain't riding nothing.
He's riding the bench. What are you talking about?
Exactly. But anyways, I don't know. I think that DeVito obviously is with Pittsburgh. I just don't see you at Pittsburgh. I don't see him in Pittsburgh black.
What, DeVito?
No.
Jones.
Oh, gotcha.
I just
I
don't
was
see
gonna
that.
say DeVito works for the mob. He would look good in black. His agent would be all for it.
Yeah, I mean, does Jones get another job?
He will. I mean, look at some of the quarterbacks that continue to get backup jobs. He'll get another job as a backup just because finding NFL experience in the quarterback position is hard to find when you're looking at kind of they would get him more so like, I hate to say this, they would get him to mentor a young quarterback. And everyone's like, that doesn't make sense because Jones is a terrible quarterback. But there have been a lot of really bad starting quarterbacks that have mentored young quarterbacks, and the young quarterbacks actually panned out because that veteran quarterback can tell them the things not to do.
Actually, I see him being a good head coach.
Okay.
Usually backup quarterbacks are quarterbacks that can't get it done in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
It's what wows them.
Yep.
What wows people is their football acumen.
Like Josh McCown is a primary example of kind of what you're talking about. Like Josh McCown was in the league forever. Like he was in the league, I think, for like 16, 17 years. He played for like 8 or 9 different teams, but he was never a great starting quarterback. He was always a backup quarterback at best that would kind of get like an opportunity here or there. But he is a tremendous quarterbacks coach. He's working with Sam Darnold right now. He was with I forgot who he was with last year, but he was with another quarterback last year, and the quarterback ended up having a good year. Like he's one of those examples where he was a backup quarterback his whole life, and when he got a chance to start, he was terrible. But he knows how to coach up young quarterbacks, and he's doing well right now with Darnold. And from all accounts, it sounded like he was doing really well with McCarthy until McCarthy got hurt.
Got you. And can you put that last statement up by Joe? Hey, Joe, that might be true, but I bet you know a guy.
That's right.
I'm Italian. I'm 100% Italian. I know a guy. So I just wanted to make sure. I bet you know a guy.
All you got to do is go to your local pizza chain. You can find somebody.
Uh, is that why it's in Jersey?
Exactly. Where do you think they dump all that shit?
Yeah, that's right.
But
And this mob segment is brought to you in part by BetUS. You can use the QR code on the screen, 125% of your first 3 deposits. And of course, there's a 10% bet guarantee. Use the QR code, bet alongside us right here on Coast to Coast. And of course, if you're here in the Pacific Northwest, you can maybe do this. There we go. Use this QR code. Go to any 3 of the True Fusion gyms, whether it's Bellevue, Ballard, or University Village. Get a free 5-day pass with that QR code. Find your edge at True Fusion Gym. All right.
And see what I tell you about it? You're right about that. We're Italian. We know.
Everybody knows a guy.
But anyways, I tell you, this is really struggling today to talk about sports. I understand since there's all this weather going on. Was there ever a doubt on who was going to be the Rookie of the Year? And I actually am surprised that the Rookie of the Year did not win the Cy Young in the NL.
Oh, I thought Chris Sale was going to get it. When you just
I thought so too. But I mean, it's just because everybody was talking about 18-3. I tell you, he wasn't as impressive as that though.
He wasn't, but when you kind of just look at his injury history that he's had the last 4 or 5 years in Boston, and for him to basically come back and look like he hasn't been hurt, I think he pretty much had that locked up when he kind of started getting to the level that he was getting at. By August, they were pretty much talking about him being not unanimous, but the favorite to win the Cy Young by August already.
So he wasn't unanimous.
No,
obviously he missed it by 4 votes. I assume that it was probably 3 votes that went to Wheeler and 1 vote went to Skeens.
I think it was 2 and 2.
It could have been.
Yeah.
But I mean, Wheeler did have a great season, although he happened to be the bad luck loser a couple of times when the bats weren't working for the Phillies. He wound up taking on a couple of those losses. It seems that against number 1 pitching, the Phillies had their worst. Obviously, it's like, but they just couldn't seem to get the bat on the ball a lot of the time. So, yeah, I saw this. I'm sure she didn't charge him.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's one of those guys you want to remain friends.
Yeah, it's always on the good side of things. So,
and then
listen, and you don't want to. I don't talk about the mob that much. You know what I mean? There's still, if you think that the mob is gone, you could think that all you want.
Still around.
They have unique ways of doing things. It's like everything evolves.
Yep.
So like what you're saying, like with Chris Sale too. Like I'm surprised that Sale won by as many votes as he did. Like I figured he was still going to win it, but I thought the race was going to be a little bit closer than what it was. The one that I thought was going to be unanimous across the board was Tarik Skubal. When you look at what Tarik Skubal did this year for the Tigers, and even he didn't get unanimous.
He didn't get unanimous. He lost by what?
Well, Tarik Skubal won the AL Cy Young.
Right, but
he's saying.
I think it was the same thing as Sale. I think it was like a 4 vote from being unanimous, which that one I can understand. But I thought the Sale one would be a little bit closer than what it was.
Yeah, I think what made it so good was the 18-3 record.
Yeah,
that's what did it. It was like, okay, 18-3. That's not really what it was, though. I mean, most of those starts that he didn't register in, were losses for the team. You know what I mean?
I think a lot of people looked at it too is when you looked at how injured that Braves rotation was from like start to finish, not having Fried for a little bit, not having Spencer Strider, not having a lot of their big guys, and you have a guy that has been injured pretty much every single year of the last 3-4 years, and he's your most healthy starter. I think that's what a lot of people looked at too. Like he was the anchor of that rotation, and he's the one that kept them afloat so long, basically.
Well, let's see. Who else was there that I think? Obviously, what's it? Sasaki did not sign with the Dodgers. They were talking about how Sasaki was signed. Just first thing I saw, just put up here. That Roki Sasaki, he's one of those pitchers that was supposed to come over. You're talking about $700,000 pitcher.
Yeah, he won't sign until after January 1st because he's going to be part of the international free agent class, which means he can actually sign for $7 million if somebody wants to give him all of their international pool money. So, I mean, yes, he's not going to get a big contract regardless. It's going to be similar to what Shohei's first contract was when he came to the Angels. But if he signs now, the most he can sign for is basically that $700,000, which is the veteran's minimum at that point. But if he waits until January 1st, which is the new international free agent period, then he can sign for basically what anybody wants to give him in terms of international money. So the Dodgers have $7.2 million, the Padres have $6.8, the Cubs have $6.5 as like the top three teams that have international pool money. So he'll get most likely $6 to $7 million once he decides that, oh, it's January 1st now, I'm going to go over there. He'll get his $6 to $7 million.
Yeah, $7.5 million is what he.
Yep. That's what
Who's got the $7.5 million?
The Dodgers have the most. I think there's 7.2 is what I think it is, but the Dodgers.
That's not true. Actually, tied first are the Reds, the Tigers, the Mariners, the Brewers, the Twins, the A's. I thought I just said the Mariners. Well, the Mariners again. Oh, the Marlins. I'm sorry. And the Rays all have $7.5555 million. The Dodgers, interestingly enough, they don't have the Dodgers even on this list, and they only go up to 27 teams. So I'm not sure. So maybe the Dodgers don't have any of that money, which would make sense to me because the Dodgers are always spending that money.
Right. Yeah. Dodgers have $5.146 million right now.
And this stops at 27, which is $5.6462 million.
Yep. So yeah, the Dodgers and Giants are at 5.1. Astros and Cardinals are 5.6. A group of teams is at 6.2, and then you have another group of teams at 6.9, and then the one group that's in the 7.5. So he's going to get over $7 million. It's just going to be similar to the Shohei contract.
There you go. You know what? I mean, the one thing, you know what I see on here? Mariners. That would probably be a good spot for him, staying on the West Coast. I know that there's a good Asian contingent up in Seattle. Mm-hmm. They actually have a good flow, and maybe another pitcher is exactly what you need.
Well, I mean, the thing is, too, though.
Why be able to hit the ball?
Right?
That's overrated.
The thing is, too, though, if he signs like that, like basically it would be like a 5-year, $7 million deal. I think that's what the international contract can be. They can extend him after 1 year anyways. So it's not like he's only going to be getting paid $1.2 million. It's like, oh, you got a good rookie year? Here's a 7-year.
I don't know. If I was him, I'd only sign for 3 years with the option out.
Yeah, I don't think you can do that if you go into the international class. I think the international class has specific rules on how those contracts are divvied out, just because it's not technically salary cap money that you're spending. It's like your international pool money that you earn. And I think all those contracts have to be a certain length, just because some of these kids are signed at 15, 16 years old. Some of them are signed at 19. Some of them are 20. It all depends. But I think they all have to be a minimum 5 years when they enter that free agent pool.
Interesting.
Doesn't say that, but if he waits till he's 25, like I said, it's going to be I'll have a 45-day window starting on.
I mean, the fact that it would be something like that is the only way the Mariners get there. Because as soon as they have to give him actual money, they'd be like, "Yeah, no, we're good." We just don't do that here.
We will pay you for 4 years, and then when you're ready to get paid, then we will trade you away and you can go get paid somewhere else.
Yeah, you'll go get paid and probably win a ring. Like that's what we're good at. We're the league's AAA team. We cultivate talent and then we send it out so it can win a ring somewhere else.
See, in fact, right now he's part of the team called the Marines. So he would be going from the Marines to Mariners.
Hey, there we go. There we go.
I kept looking at this and I'm like, why is it not saying Mariners here? Like it would revert back to the Marines as the team he plays for currently, because they're going to get their money no matter what. Japan's going to get their money.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so the rules for international free agency are you have to be at least 16 years old and you cannot live in Canada or the United States. So basically it's anybody from the Dominican Republic, Japan, or whatever. A player that is 25 years of age or older and has played at least 6 professional seasons has to sign a minimum 3-year deal, which he's not at that age yet. Players between ages 21 and 23 and have played a minimum of 4 professional seasons have to sign a minimum 4-year deal. So whoever he signs with, he has to sign a 4-year deal.
Okay.
And then players under 19 years of age are tied into that 5-year deal just because you don't have the professional experience yet. So basically it'll be a 4-year, $7 million deal, pretty much, because I think that's kind of what Shohei was. I think Shohei's was like 5 years at 7.5 is what Shohei's was.
All right.
But he'll only play for that deal for 1 year, and then he'll get his $10 or $11-year extension with somebody.
Got ya. So let's see what else. What else is happening here?
I mean, oddly enough, we're there. That's what's happening. This was Coast to Coast. If you're watching on YouTube, be sure to like and subscribe. And if you are on Roku, stay tuned for the next hour. Other than that, we'll see you all tomorrow, hopefully for a full-length show.
Let's hope the weather holds up.
Hey, you know,
it's funny. Right as we end this, and I'm glad that we're not getting to this today, Embiid said the leaker of 76ers meeting a real piece of shit.
Awesome.
I mean, you're playing like a real piece of shit too, so hey.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that sounds like something we might open the day up tomorrow with.
That sounds like it. We're going to go from bad weather to shit.
Yep. Just more of the same. Enjoy the rest of your day, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.
Introducing National Streaming Sports, live and on-demand sports talk programming that you can access 24/7. For the premier sports talk experience, tap into our Roku channel. Start your mornings with Mac and Jack covering all the weekend sports action. Then pour a cup and enjoy all the sports you can drink on the Coffee and Sports podcast. At midday, talk sports from east to west on the Coast to Coast podcast. Followed at night by some hot girl talk with Prim and Proper Sports featuring Sonia Pearson. Talk boxing on the Gloved Fist. Yankee fans tune in for Start Spreading the News. And there's more on the College Sports Huddle and Sports Scope with Robert Butler. There are 20 podcasts in all and 70 weekly shows giving us a 3.4-star viewer rating. To find us on Roku TV, search for National Streaming Sports on the Roku search bar. Click on the logo and you're in. National Streaming Sports.